Meet Scarlett. Scarlett is a 16-year-old, 262-kilogram female muskoxen at the Robert G. White Large Animal Research Station, University of Alaska, Fairbanks. Every spring, muskoxen shed a really dense underlayer of wool that we call Qiviut. And it's just a beautiful fine fiber, very much like cashmere. And we comb it off partly so that the animal can be cool during the summer, but also it enables us to sell it to the fiber market. This is a very rare fiber. So Emma has started combing Scarlett. She's using a hair pick, and she slips the hair pick down between the Qiviut and pulls the guard hair back through. Now at this point, Scarlett has actually shed the Qiviut. The Qiviut, which is this roll of fiber coming off on the side, is actually lifted from the skin, and it's being held in the guard hair, and she's just teasing it through. We call this a synchronous shed, and that simply means that all the hair fibers have lifted from the skin almost, well, in synchrony, essentially, and a muskoxen will shed this Qiviut within a space of days to maybe up to a week or a little over a week. So unlike your pet dog, which seems to shed continuously, muskoxen can do this in a very short period of time. It takes a lot longer in the natural situation for the Qiviut to work its way out through the guard hair. Now Scarlett has, as I said, she's 16 and she comes in for combing every year. She's pretty used to this procedure, and she's amazingly well behaved. And a well-behaved muskoxen like this will allow you to get quite a bit more Qiviut than if they're nervous or jumping about. And Scarlett will stand quite nicely as long as you don't pull her hair. She's like all of us. She resents it when you start pinching and pulling. But if the Qiviut is already lifted, it usually comes out really nicely. And this is a beautiful blanket. You see, we call them a blanket or a fleece. There's coming off the animal now. Scarlett is actually standing in an animal handling crate. She's very used to this crate. They come through here on a regular basis to be weighed if they need vaccinations or any particular treatment or their toes trimmed. They come through this handling crate, and it helps her feel safe. She feels protected in there, and it's also for the safety of the handlers as well. And right now, part of the reason she's as tame as she is, or as quiet as she is she is eating a big extra helping of pellets. As Emma is combing down further on the side towards the belly, the guard hair gets a bit longer. There's a greater chance it might be tangled, and so you do have to be a little extra careful. They can get very sensitive down by the belly hair. And this is a look at the inside. This is the skin side of the Qiviut. It's absolutely beautiful and clean. There's almost no dander on this Qiviut, certainly no chafe. Now you can see Emma has opened the whole side of the handling crate. There's just a single bar, and that gives Scarlett a little bit of a sense of security so that she doesn't feel that her whole back end is loose. And it allows Emma to comb the sheet right there. This is a beautiful prime sheet of Qiviut. And we will in fact we have put all of this into the hand spinning market as opposed to having it processed into yarn. It would probably take an hour to an hour and a half for two people, one on each side, to comb the bulk of prime Qiviut from a muskoxen. That might leave a little bit in the rump. The rump hair tends to be a bit more tangled, and it's often tangled on the brisket. Areas where they lie down or there's a bit of friction tends to mat up and get tangled, and sometimes it's just better to leave it rather than pull the hair or upset the animal. Sometimes, if lots of Qiviut is still left on the animal, we'll bring them back in and start combing again. And sometimes it's not all lifted as nicely as it is on scarlet. They usually start shedding their Qiviut from the head, and it moves back, and from the top down. So we'll often bring them back in to get the last remaining bits on the rump and areas like that. We roll it up with the skin side in. The skin side tends to, it's just a magnet for bits of dirt and debris. And when we package this for the hand spinner, if you buy raw Qiviut, this is exactly what you find. And we will take a 1 ounce piece off this big fleece and package it as it is. That we don't try and take the Qiviut around the face. They don't appreciate it. They don't like it. See a really beautiful piece of Qiviut. It holds together like a fleece. It looks like it's been shorn, but in fact it's actually been shed. And there you have that. It's just about half of the Qiviut from the side, that one side of the animal. So we roll it up with the fur side out and bag it and weigh it. So all from the one side of Scarlet. She this year produced 5.5 pounds of this wonderful light fiber. So thank you, Scarlet.